Greetings, everybody. This is Serpentine451, and welcome back to another episode of Weeb Warriors. And again, this will be another solo week for me because Jordan is not back from work yet, and Jay will be busy for the fall season since everything started for the television season, and he's going to be on that YouTube grind. But anyway, let's actually get to the remaining shows for the summer season. We'll start with the shows that will continue into the fall season. And we'll start with Vinland Saga, episode 12. Well, this episode, Ashkelid got assistance from the people of Wales, predominantly the kingdom that he is allied with a name that I cannot pronounce. And the commander of the forces there, Granianos, helps them cross the river into Wales territory, where they ultimately get ambushed by a force from a neighboring kingdom on their way to get to a location in Wales. Well, throughout the episode, Ashkelid's men have been running from Thorkild. But still, I find it very interesting what's going to be continuing in this episode, and how Thorfinn is now the bodyguard to the prince, who we actually get to hear speak in this episode. Well, not really by much, but still very interesting, still very good, very solid. And there wasn't a new episode of Fire Force, so we'll skip that into Dr. Stone, episode 13, Masked Warrior. Now, the one thing I can say about this episode, they're close to actually making the antibody for Ruri, but they need to still continue on with their plan. But the ground bout is looming close upon them, and both the science and battle divisions coalesce into one plan to make sure that they win. But their plans have been thwarted when the brackets were announced on the actual tournament day. Mantle tried to con the group because Suika was, apprehended by the man and tied up to a tree. But it's thanks to Suika's smart actions because, I will mention this later, but backtracking just a little. Kinro is the one who gets to fight against Magma. And due to his farsightedness, or nearsightedness, I forgot which is which. I suffer from the affliction because I can't see things from a far distance. And it's the same problem Suika has. So she deduces that he's having trouble, and she hurls her helmet on his head, and he's able to actually see through the power of science and defeat Magma. Truly an astounding feat. I respect it. Anyway, that's it for the episode. Now let's actually get to the shows that actually wrapped up. Let's start with Danmachi Season 2. Even though there's a Season 3 that's going to be announced, and I don't know when it will be premiering exactly, but woohoo! Season 3. But this is the end. This is an episode centered around how one man, a former adventurer of the Brigid Familia, lost his goddess, the love of his life, and ended up coming to a village and becoming its mayor. And how it kind of parallels what Belle's going through. How he has the fear that since he's mortal, he could die. And so he doesn't want to be closer to his goddess because he respects her so much. And if she were to have any sort of feelings for him, and if he were to die, it would just make her sad. I just really like this episode and how it tackled the issue between God and man falling in love. And to have Krim, the mayor, parallel Bell in that sense. How he says, I let my goddess die during an attack because she saved me. And I never took a wife, but I loved her so much that I never took a wife. And even with the man's dying breath, he wanted to see his goddess again, the woman that he loved. It was a very powerful episode and a good way to end this very, very good season of Danmachi. I never expected to have a second season of Danmachi, especially during the summer, but it was just great nonetheless. Now we move on to Isekai Mom, episode 12. Oh boy. Basically, Amante really lays the smackdown on our crew because she actually has the ability to reflect all sorts of attacks because of her rebellious nature. And Rebel is actually a bigger organization than we thought. But Masato and Mamako, well, more so Mamako, actually pulls through and actually defeats Amante, and Masato, in an attempt to remember what his wish was, but he couldn't remember, so he ended up wishing for eggs that they had for breakfast. And Shirase actually ended up, after everything was all said and done, gave them the mission to find the rest of the 4 fiends of Rebel and take them down. Decent show, very funny, subverted a lot of tropes in isekai anime. Just very fun, very funny. I could stand to not have that many loon moments with Mamako, because that is somebody's mom after all. But still a great show. Very, very good. Just a great show. Regardless. Now, let's actually move on to the last show for the summer season. Is Isekai Cheat Magician, episode 12. Well, aptly titled, since I can remember this title now. Isekai Cheat Magician. Well, the battle ends... Well, the battle seems grim, I should say, with everyone involved. The warriors are in berserk mode, thanks to the spell that the douche advisor to the Duke casts, and everyone's like down on their ropes and whatnot. Taichi wants to save everybody, and he was able to defeat the advisor by gaining the power of Aries' true form, Sylphilit, or I should just call her Sylphie. Well, Sylphie's true power is so immense that Taichi will no longer be human, and that's what Eri was afraid of. And I'm really condensing things here, but that's essentially what happened. All in all, Taichi wins, destroys the advisor, who turned into a demon-like monster, and it's all for a woman named Shade. Now, we may never see more of this show, and it's all a vehicle to actually see the source material. Pardon me. Yeah, very professional tone. But anywho, everything's all fine and dandy, and the episode and the series ends with the group heading back to the village that they started in, with a promise from the princess of Winifex that she will return Taichi and Rin back to Japan, in our world, so to speak. Still, very good show for what it was. I mean, it was average in the grand scheme of things, and I don't typically watch... Well, we here in Weeb Warriors don't typically watch shows that are average, but I stuck through it, and I wasn't disappointed or amazed by it. It was just middle of the road, and typically shows like that only exist for a short amount of time. But let's actually get to the soapbox discussion for this week, and since fall is already upon us for the anime season, new shows will be premiering throughout this month. we will be taking on a few shows for review, but tentatively, from what I've read on Anime List, Fire Force, Dr. Stone, and Vinland Saga are still going to be on the review docket. Still good shows, and I want to see how each show continues on. And we also have continuations for shows that are actually popping up again. Like We Never Learned Season 2, and My Hero Academia is coming back on the 12th of October. And there might be other shows that might catch our eyes, you never know. And since Jordan's not really a big Fate fan, I'd be watching the Babylonia anime on my free time, so I can get that sweet Fate fix. But there might be shows that we will add to the docket come winter. For the fall season. We never know for sure. But My Hero and We Never Learn will definitely be back on the list for the review docket, which will leave us with 5 shows in total. That is an excellent selection here. But that is a tentative list with 3 for sures. Well, technically 5 for sures. Because everyone liked We Never Learn. And My Hero is going to be just a fun part of the fall season for everyone. Because, hell yeah, we're going to be having the 8 Precepts arc just getting animated. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be killer. But with this very short video out of the way, this has been Serpentine451. Just signing out of here. I'll catch you guys next time.